Welcome to Eggs and Issues, a monthly business program presented by the Portland Community Chamber, with presenting sponsors Bank of America, Martins Point Healthcare, and WEX, in cooperation with IDEX Laboratories, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, and Oxford Networks, and television sponsor WMTW News 8, with production support by Headlight Audiovisual. And now, please welcome the Portland Community Chamber President, Bill Becker of Key Private Bank.
Welcome to Eggs and Issues. This is the Portland Community Chamber's monthly business forum where we gather to discuss business issues of the day. As I was walking up from my office this morning, I wanted to have a conversation with that groundhog. My name is Bill Becker, Vice President at Key Private Bank, and I'm the volunteer president of the Portland Community Chamber. Our special guest today is Greg Powell, Chief Executive Officer and President of Dexter Enterprises, Inc., and Chairman of the Harold Alfond Foundation. Today, Greg will discuss the Foundation's missions, goals, and importance to Maine families and the broader Maine economy in increasing access to and raising aspirations for higher education for Maine's young people. He will also discuss a new strategy and a call to action to expand the program's reach for the benefit of the people and the economy of Maine. Next, I'd like to offer a few words about our sponsors. Our program is made possible through the generous support of our sponsors, all of them leaders in the Portland business community. Please hold your applause until I've listed all of them. Presenting sponsors, Bank of America, Martins Point Healthcare, and WEX. Cooperating sponsors, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, IDEX, and Oxford Networks. Reception sponsors, Clark Insurance and Key Bank. Overall production support of Eggs and Issues is provided by Headlight Audiovisual, and our program is broadcast by our friends at Time Warner Cable's On Demand, channels 1, 950, and 1040, but those have all changed. Our print sponsor is The Forecaster. Our e-media sponsor is Maine Biz. Our radio sponsor is WGAN, who interview our speakers and broadcast live right here every month. And our broadcast partner is WMTW TV. We also thank our special community partners, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Northeast Delta Dental, and the Portland Press Herald, Maine Sunday Telegram, pressherald.com. Please join me in thanking all of our sponsors for their generous support of Eggs and Issues. Our Tomorrow's Leaders program allows high school students to attend Eggs and Issues during the academic year. We'd like to thank our sponsors, AAA Northern New England and Springborn Staffing, for their support of this program. We'd like to welcome many students to our event this morning. Today we have students from Portland, Catherine McCauley, and Cheverus High Schools. Students, please stand and be recognized. Welcome. We also want to thank Springborn Staffing and AAA Northern New England for their support of our program, Tomorrow's Entrepreneurs. This program allows students from Southern Maine Community College's Entrepreneur Program to attend Eggs and Issues for free. SMCC students and staff, please stand and be recognized. Baker Newman Noyes sponsors our Community Corner program, which allows area nonprofits to promote their organizations at Eggs and Issues. Our Community Corner partner this month is the Alfond Scholarship Foundation. Harold Alfond's vision was to provide every Maine resident baby a $500 grant for college to encourage Maine children in their college aspirations and to support their ability to access a college education. He believed that every Maine child should have an opportunity for higher education. Thanks to his hard work and generosity, all Maine resident babies may now have a $500 Alfond grant to help pay for college, trade school, or other post-high school education. With us today are Colleen Quint, CEO of the Alfond Scholarship Foundation, and Travis Cummings of the Harold Alfond Foundation. Colleen and Travis, please stand and be recognized. Now we want to take the time to recognize any new chamber members who are with us this morning. As I continue to say, our chamber membership has grown exponentially over the last year. Would the new members please stand and be recognized as well? We are also proud to welcome members of our Portland Veterans Network, our comprehensive free program for unemployed and student veterans, focusing on jobs, wellness, educational, and networking opportunities. We'd like to extend a special thank you to Easter Seals of Maine, who has partnered with the Chamber to maintain and promote the Veterans Support Network. Now on to our speaker. Following Greg's remarks, we'll have a question and answer session. For this portion of the event, please use your microphone closest to your table to pose your question. Please introduce yourself and tell us the name of your company or organization. Gregory Powell is the Chief Executive Officer and President of Dexter Enterprises, Inc., and is Chairman of the Harold Alfond Foundation. Working together, Powell and Harold Alfond, the founder of Dexter Shoe Company, created Dexter Enterprises, Inc. in 1996 to oversee the Alfond family's investments, philanthropy, and business affairs. Since childhood, Powell had personally known Harold Alfond as a longtime supporter of the communities where the Alfonds worked and resided. The Harold Alfond Foundation was launched in 1950 and commonly awarded matching challenge grants to organizations to build community partnerships and to inspire and leverage additional giving by others. Beginning in 1996, Powell and Alfond worked closely together for over a decade on the Harold Alfond Foundation's charitable projects in Maine and other states. Alfond ensured that his philanthropy would live on by committing nearly all of his wealth to the foundation. He selected Powell to succeed him as chairman, which occurred in 2008. Today, the foundation continues to support charitable causes as the largest foundation in the state of Maine. Consistent with Harold Alfond's own giving pattern and philanthropic principles, the foundation continues to favor education, healthcare, youth development, and other selected charitable causes. The foundation applies Alfond's business approach to funding decisions, his belief in teamwork, and his love of competition by continuing to award matching challenge grants to projects that meet a demonstrable need, are entrepreneurial, promote teamwork, have measurable performance outcomes, are financially viable, and have quality management and board leadership. Greg lives in Cape Elizabeth with his wife Amy and two daughters, Molly and Catherine, when they are home from college. Greg, thank you for being here today. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to speak with you this morning. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you all for your monthly breakfast. I'd like to make a special thanks to Bill for that nice introduction, and to Bill Williamson for securing my invitation to come visit with you, and of course to Chris Hall, your CEO. Thank you. Harold Alfond, as you know, was a businessman, but he was a businessman first and a philanthropist second. And as a businessman, he disliked two things equally in life: lawyers and long speeches. Well, I am a lawyer, so that's always been one strike against me, and there isn't a lawyer joke in the world I haven't heard. And as for speeches, Harold would always say, "Greg, keep it short. Remember, when your mouth is in gear, your brain is in park." So this morning, I have the honor of making a special announcement and to ask for your help. But before I do that, and with Harold's fondness for short speeches in mind, let's briefly talk about the foundation and its mission, the foundation's views on education and the importance of an educated citizenry to our economy, and the Harold Alfond College Challenge Program, in which we offer $500 to every Maine baby for college savings. The Harold Alfond Foundation was created in 1950, as Bill mentioned, by Harold, who was the founder of Dexter Shoe, and for 57 years until his death in 2007 at the ripe old age of 93, Harold's foundation supported charitable causes, particularly in the areas of education, healthcare, and youth development, particularly so in the area of education. Guiding Harold's approach to philanthropy was a perspective of our state and its people that still guides the foundation today. Harold knew we are a geographically large state with vast undeveloped rural areas. He knew we have a small but independent, hardworking population without great wealth. And he knew most of our citizens were like him and had not had the opportunity to benefit from higher education. And with these traits of Maine in mind, and from his love of sports, Mr. Alfond recognized that teamwork and partnership were essential to build a future of success and excellence in Maine. In a state of limited financial resources, bringing together people, charities, and organizations of all stripes, including businesses, to achieve what no one entity could achieve acting alone was the way to a better future. And he knew, because resources were so scarce, that every dollar needed to count. When Harold passed away in 2007, he gave all of his wealth to his foundation, increasing the asset base of the foundation to more than $500 million. Harold was mindful of Sir John Templeton's observation. He was a 20th century philanthropist, that if you're giving while you're living, then you're knowing where it's going. So, knowing that he would not live to spend all of his money, we worked closely in his final years to provide guidance for future grant making. Guidance that today calls on us to make large, transformative gifts in the area of education, healthcare, and youth development, mostly in Maine. Since Harold's death, the foundation has awarded over $155 million in grants. Over that same time period, with market winds at our back, the foundation's endowment has grown to a current asset base of $727 million, helped in no small measure by a 24% return on our capital in 2013. Over the next decade, we will follow Harold's wishes and expect to award at least another $300 million, and much of that money will go to education. With that background, I want to talk about the Foundation's interest in education and the vital role we see it playing for the citizens of Maine and our state's economy in the years ahead. Having never attended college himself, Harold keenly appreciated the benefits an education can provide and the importance of an educated citizenry to our well-being as a society. At the most basic level, he understood that having a good job and doing a good job came first in life, that education is key to getting a good job, and that good jobs mean economic prosperity. This idea, the correlation between education, quality work, and economic prosperity, is not new. Over 200 years ago, Ben Franklin extolled the economic mission of education, reminding his education scholars who weren't quite so practical as he was, that practical skills should be taught above and beyond the usual theology and classical languages and whatnot. More recently, skipping ahead 200 years, a Harvard University study has confirmed that educational attainment of our citizens positively impacts family income and economic growth. On this front, Georgetown University researcher and Maine native, Dr. Anthony Carnevale, has reported that in the coming decade, 60% of Maine jobs will require workers with some form of higher education. And yet today, more than 60% of Maine residents have no higher education. This gap, or education deficit as we call it, between our educational attainment and workforce needs is one of the many extraordinary challenges that we see here in Maine and nationally that make the need for a renewed, creative commitment to the economic mission of education more compelling than at any time in our history. What else do we see? We see, as has been described at your breakfast here in this very room, that we live in a world economy, more competitive than ever, where the skill and capabilities of our labor force is continually tested, and where the skill and education of our workforce will determine our future leadership in the world. We see, as described in the State Chamber's most recent Maine Work report, that our state's workforce has declined in number and skill level as our population has aged, birth rates have declined, and the inflow of skilled workers has been offset by the exodus of young people to more attractive employment markets. We see higher education in its traditional forms as unaffordable to too many of our citizens, yet, as we've just thought about, it's no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. And we see higher education as being under tremendous financial strain as disruptive, Web-based technologies are emerging and evolving, testing the value proposition of the traditional 4-year residential model. But with challenges come opportunities. And so, with these challenges in mind, we see a future rich with opportunity, a future in which there is a cultural change. Maine families increasingly understand the importance of higher education to their children's lives and to our state's future. And with escalating costs, they understand the importance of savings for higher education. We see a future in which there are new, alternative pathways to and forms of education that are more affordable, better suited, and more attractive to the 60% of our population having not benefited from higher education in the past. And we see, so appropriate for this forum, more beneficial collaborative relationships between educational institutions and the business sector, so we can be assured that workforce needs of our economy are being met. Well, this brings us to the Foundation's long-term signature strategy to help meet these challenges and to take advantage of the opportunities they create, the Harold Alfond College Challenge. With the College Challenge program, we and our partners have sought to raise aspirations for and improve access to higher education for Maine's young people by offering a $500 grant to every Maine resident baby for college. Under our program, the definition of college is very broad. The $500 grant can be used for higher education in many forms, everything from a welding certificate to an Ivy League education. Now, the program was launched as a pilot in 2008 with our friends at Maine General in Augusta and Waterville, and went statewide in 2009. The Alfond Foundation, the Harold Alfond Foundation, funds the program, which in turn is led and operated by the Alfond Scholarship Foundation. And our foundation is led by an absolutely super CEO, Colleen Quint, and we have an absolutely fantastic board. Just to brag a little. The program is administered by another super partner, the Finance Authority of Maine. And the Finance Authority works closely with Bank of America's Merrill Lynch, and that's where Bill Williamson comes in. Bill, I don't know where you are, but at any rate, Merrill Lynch helps run and manage the assets for the plan. This team is complemented by statewide promotional efforts of hospitals, pediatricians' offices, colleges, universities, businesses, and charitable and educational organizations of all types. And as you can see from the slides on the screen, we have a great team of partners, and many of its leaders are here with us this morning. At the Harold Alfond Foundation, we are enormously grateful to and proud of our speakers. And on behalf of the Harold Alfond Foundation, I want to thank them all for their outstanding work. Well, the College Challenge is a first in our nation's history. It is the only program in the nation, maybe the world, which offers a college account to every child. Our program has 3 concrete objectives: to offer all Maine babies a $500 investment grant to grow and be used for higher education. Secondly, to use quarterly summaries for the accounts as a means of communicating, informing, and motivating families to prepare their children for success. And finally, to encourage college savings by families themselves early in their children's lives. As we look back over the past 5 years, we see terrific progress has been made through the creativity, hard work, and commitment of our partners. Since 2008, 23,000 Maine children have received our $500 grant. And that's $11.5 million and growing every day. With market gain, the Alfond grants now total over $15.6 million. Now, to qualify for our grant, each of those 23,000 families have had to fill out an application and open a next-gen account before the child's first birthday. And while no contributions from the families have been required, nearly 30% of families have, in fact, made their own contributions to the accounts for a total now valued at $16.4 million. So between the Alfond grants and the savings of families, that is $32 million in savings in 5 short years. Comparing the nearly 23,000 enrolled children here in Maine to the annual state birth rates over this period, we have increased the percentage of college savings accounts for children in the 0 to 6 year age bracket 10 times over the national average for all children up to age 18. Well, we have also made good progress on our educational messaging, perhaps a part of our program more important than the $500 itself. Every quarter, the families of the 23,000 Maine babies receive our personalized account summaries. And as you can see from the sample on the screen, our summary shows in a manner a little bit more attractive than maybe the investment statements you get in the mail, just how the investment account is doing, both theirs and ours. You can actually see market gain in there, and loss, and things like that to keep track of it. While the account summary draws the parent's attention to the money saved and its return, it also provides specially crafted messages in themes of finances, literacy, science and math, and health, all designed to help the parents keep their child on the road to college, higher education, and a better life. And as the child ages, the educational messaging changes to stay relevant and age appropriate. And best of all, as we move to paperless communications with our families, we expect our Message with the Money account summaries to provide a powerful communication platform with families as internet and web technologies become more far-reaching and interactive. But even as we and our partners reflect on what has been accomplished, we are just getting started. As Harold Alfond used to like to say, you ain't seen nothing yet. We know that much, much more work needs to be done. In fact, while with our program in Maine, Maine leads the nation in college savings, only 40% of families of eligible children are actually signing up and accepting our grant, and that's moving up each year. Over the past 6 years, we have worked hard to increase enrollment using marketing strategies designed to encourage families to sign up. And signing up has required parents to affirmatively act or opt in by filling out and submitting an SEC-regulated application, which can be intimidating to even the most sophisticated person. And it has required them to act in the year following birth of their child when life can be particularly demanding for families. So these targeted strategies have also come at increased marketing costs, leading us to ask what Harold Alfond would want to know if he were here with us. Are we making the best use of our marketing dollars to accomplish our enrollment objectives? Our take rate may get better, but at what marketing cost? And will we ever make it to 100% where we need to be? In many ways, as my friend Pete Vigue of Chinbro has reminded me, getting families to opt in for college savings is very much like the experience many of you have had in offering your employees the chance to participate in retirement plans. Getting folks to just take that essential first step is difficult and inefficient. So we have given our enrollment challenges a lot of thought and consideration, and so have others. Research conducted by Washington University has shown that many of the families who have not participated in our program are likely the families that would benefit most from it. These families have lower incomes, have not gone to college themselves, are unfamiliar with the investment world, and are not saving for their retirement, let alone their children's higher education. And in other research, ongoing research, there is compelling evidence that in low-income families, the mere presence of a college savings account, regardless of amount and regardless of whether the family could afford to contribute, elevates the aspirations and outlook of parents for their children's future. As will come to no surprise to you as businessmen and women, having a piece of the rock changes the way people look at the world and their future in it. So this research and common sense tells us that if we are to elevate the future prosperity of our citizens and our economy, then the College Challenge program must reach all children. These children need us, and we need them. When we launched this program, we asked, why not offer every Maine baby a $500 college savings account? We thought that was a pretty good idea. Of course, we should. But last summer, as we reflected on all that we had accomplished and pondered what more we could do, we asked a new and exciting question. The question was not whether to offer such a grant, counting on parents to opt in. The question was, why not simply give every baby a $500 college savings account? In response, we and our partners worked long and hard to figure out just how we can do that. And so this morning, we are here to share our answer. The college challenge is opting out of opting in. Going forward, every Maine baby will automatically be given a $500 college savings account. Parents, no more application in the way of getting started for college savings, though parents will have the right to opt out. Our great partner, Fame, now led by CEO Bruce Wagner, with enthusiastic assistance from Elizabeth Vanderweed and her team, will use state birth certificates to trigger the setup of new Alfond grants automatically with no application needed from parents. Now, by going automatic, the foundation will more than double its financial outlay for the program. We expect to reach close to 12,000 babies every year at a cost of $6 million per year. Frankly, the bigger the check we write, the better. And best of all, in so doing, we will be planting the seed for higher education aspirations and access for all Maine children. Now, planting seeds is one thing, but growing them is another thing altogether. With our new automatic strategy, the first two goals of our program are essentially accomplished because every baby is automatically awarded $500 and every family receives our quarterly messages to promote their child's success. But our third objective, to promote family savings, needs help and greater community engagement to progress. And that is where so many of our business and nonprofit partners have stepped up to help and where we hope all of you this morning will come in. This morning, we are pleased to welcome more business and community partners to our program. And before the morning is over, we hope to recruit everyone in this room. At your tables, there is material describing steps you can take to join our effort. This is the advertisement part of my remarks. And as you will see, there are numerous ways to help, many at little or no cost. And to figure out which one is best for you and your company, I invite you to ask your colleagues what they are doing, or just give our terrific CEO, Colleen Quint, a call. There comes a time for every speaker when he looks out over his audience, as I'm doing now, and sees nothing but looks of unalloyed pleasure and joy. It's usually after the words "in conclusion." So, in conclusion, let me leave you with this thought. Today is Harold Alfond's 100th birthday. Speaking of birth certificates, the proof is behind me or up on the screens here. Harold Alfond launched the College Challenge program in the final autumn of his life. And while he would never know the children to benefit from the College Challenge program, he knew their lives would be better for it, and he knew our state would be better too. He could imagine, as we do here this morning, a struggling single mom in rural Maine in a home you might have seen as you drove down some of the old roads here in the state. The cries of her newborn in the air, and wonder what that child's future could be if given a chance in life. Harold liked to say, "Don't tell me, show me." And so if he were here with us this morning as we announce our new strategy to give every Maine newborn a $500 college grant, he would say to all of us, "Don't tell me, show me." In the days ahead, the Alfond Foundation and our great partners intend to show Harold and the nation that every child deserves a chance in life. But ladies and gentlemen, we need your help. The College Challenge is a great big train headed to the future. The train has a great crew, and it's growing in size every day. And in each town and city all across the state, we are making stops to bring aboard more children, more families, more partners. Where are we going with this train? We are going to 100% on Harold Alfond's 100th birthday. Our train is headed to a better future for Maine. It's going to take time, but our future is full of challenges and ripe with opportunities. So, ladies and gentlemen, come join the College Challenge. Jump aboard our train. We need you all. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I'm told there's a very strict time limit at this business crowd gathering, so I don't know if I have time for questions or not, but I'd be glad to take a few.
Good morning. My name is Justin Lamontagne. I'm a commercial real estate broker with the Dunham Group. I wasn't going to ask a question until you showed that birth certificate. My daughter was born 3 years ago today, and she was born at Mercy Hospital. And one of the things that I found really amazing about that experience was after the dust had settled, one of the nurses came in and gave us that folder and told us about the Alfond opportunity, and I never heard about it. So you can do all the marketing in the world, but educating and training, I think the staff at these hospitals is as effective as anything. So my question is, moving forward, will you continue to do that, and how do you work with the hospitals in that regard?
The hospitals have been partners of ours from day one, starting at Maine General and then working under Steve's leadership at the Association of State Hospitals. They have been absolutely terrific partners in every way, introducing the program to new moms and dads. And we expect them to stay partners. They serve a very important role in emphasizing the importance of college savings and making sure that parents follow through, because while every child's going to get $500, they're still going to have to set up their own account to be able to save their own money. And when you're talking about Mercy Hospital, you're talking one of the best. I think year over year they have the highest rate of participation in the program. So I'd like to thank Eileen and her crew for that.
Good morning. Hi, Greg. I'm Jim DeLugos, and I have the privilege of serving as the president of St. Joseph's College. I think it's safe and fair to say that over the last decade and a half, the Alfond Foundation has been a transformative entity at St. Joseph's College, and so I want to thank you publicly for the support you've given us during that time. Yesterday, I was up in Augusta offering testimony for the Joint Select Committee on Appropriations and Financial Matters in support of private higher education. And while the goal of having every Maine child go to college is tremendously important and exciting, one of the concerns that I have is the environment for higher education going forward. And I'm wondering if the foundation has given any thought to how it can support a healthy, growing environment for higher education across all sectors, both public and private. To have lots of folks in college is great, but to have lots of seats and lots of options is equally important. So I'd appreciate any thoughts you have on that matter, Greg.
I think we're learning with you what is going to evolve with web-based information education sharing. And this particular development in our world is absolutely huge. It is a remarkable advancement, and it is going to transform the way higher education works. I think there will always be a place for a St. Joseph's College, a Colby, a Bates, a Bowdoin. These institutions provide an experience which is very enriching and works very, very well for some students. There are a whole bunch of other students, however, who don't necessarily do well in a classroom and who do not have time because they've had children earlier in their life or other reasons where the model doesn't work. And for those students, the emergence of web-based educational technologies will be a huge positive opportunity if we deal with the issue, which I think is the heart of your question, the content and the quality of the information that's delivered. I think that is going to work itself out. At MIT, a study has recently been undertaken by a fantastic group of people, very, very smart people, asking the question of what is the future of education at MIT. It has found that it can reach hundreds of thousands of students all over the world with the most high-quality, powerful content imaginable, and do it on their MIT education platform along with Harvard and Yale. They charge nothing for any of this, and you know, coming from MIT, the chances are that the quality of and content of the information is very, very good. And so it's free right now. They're grappling with what to do with this. Is this going to be like the problem we have right now with the newspapers, where there is information distributed, but a financial compensation for it is not there? So the economic model here is evolving and developing, and it will be interesting to watch. I'm not sure I have an answer for you, but I do have a lot of optimism that the development of technology is going to allow us to reach more people, that quality institutions will become known, and people will make choices for quality when they are given that opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations on your new position at St. Joe's. Any other questions? I see I've worn you all out. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being with you.
Thank you, Greg. Happy birthday to Mr. Alfond, and what a tremendous, tremendous challenge and opportunity the foundation has put in front of the citizens of Maine. So thank you again very much for coming. As a thank you for speaking today, we will be making a contribution to the Harold Alfond Foundation. Some final announcements as we wrap up. The much-anticipated Chamber Celebration Luncheon will be held on Thursday, March 20th at the Doubletree in South Portland. We will present this year's volunteer awards, including Darrell Wright of People's United Bank, who will be named Volunteer of the Year. It used to be a surprise. Now we know it in advance. Mark McAuliffe of Apothecary by Design will receive the Lifetime Achievement Award. He wonders what that means about his future at this point. And the Westbrook-Gorham Community Chamber of Commerce will be recognized as the 2014 Chamber Growth Champion. It's going to be a great event, and you can register now at the website. You can stay up to date on everything related to the Chamber by connecting via Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Stay tuned to the Chamber's new website for video of this morning's Eggs and Issues, and as always, the photos taken here this morning will be available for viewing on Facebook and the Chamber's website. Thank you for joining us this morning. We hope to see you again on April 9th when the question about newspapers will be answered, when we welcome Lisa DeSisto, CEO and publisher of Maine Today Media, as our speaker. Thanks very much. Have a great day.